Look, my top rated book on confidence is called The Super You. I'm sending it to you, physical book, free. Go to the link down there. You got it.
DreAllDay.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show where you learn the discipline of showing up every single day to do the work, confidence, put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you have expected to achieve is yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, we give you a huge dose of personal initiative. Yes, this is the go-getter energy that moves you to go make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. When you put all this together, what you get is the mindset method podcast known as Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day. Welcome to the show. Now today, what I'm going to do is go through a list that I was reading about actually a couple days ago. Actually, by the time you listen to this, it will be more than a couple of days ago. But I was on Google and I read this article about Jeff Bezos. You know who Jeff Bezos is, right? He's the head honcho guy over at the site called Amazon, this company called Amazon. And this article said that Jeff Bezos had 3 questions that he asked anytime an interviewee came in to possibly get hired to work for Amazon. And within that article, you can go look up 3 questions, but within that article, there were 14 specific leadership principles that are part of Amazon's ethos. And that's what I want to talk about here today. The 14 leadership principles. 3 questions. Let me see if I can remember what the 3 questions were. Actually, I know I won't. I know one of them was, will you... I don't even remember what all 3 I don't even remember what one was. You go look those up, 3 questions. But I'm going to go over these 14 leadership principles. You got Google. That's what we're going to talk about here today. And I'm reading straight from Amazon.jobs. I believe it's Amazon.jobs. And I believe /principles is where this list is. So you can find it and follow along yourself if you wish. Or you can just listen to me talk about it and know the sound of my voice is soothing, right? And I'm going to read off what these 14 are, and I'm going to tell you why these matter when it comes to leadership, how they apply. Well, maybe Amazon's going to give us a little paragraph about why they apply to them, but it's not about how it applies to Amazon, unless you're going to work there. And they'll tell you when you get the job if that's what you want to do, but also how they apply to your work, your sport, your business, your life, as far as the work on your game principles are concerned. That's what we're talking about here. So first thing it says with these leadership principles is we use these principles every day, whether we're discussing ideas for new projects or deciding the best approach to solving a problem. It's just one of the things that makes Amazon peculiar. So number 1 principle, leadership principles, that's what we're talking about here today in Amazon, is customer obsession. Now, why would I be reading off a list where the number 1 principle is customer obsession? Listen, maybe not all of you even have customers. And not everyone in here is an entrepreneur. Not everybody here is in retail. Not everyone here is directly selling something. But customer obsession does not mean that. It's not about having a customer or a client or somebody giving you a check or paying you money in exchange for your product or service. Customer obsession means who is the person who, if you please this person, satisfy this person, make this person happy, give this person value, make this person's life or day better, you get some value in exchange. Who is that person? All of us have that. Okay, if you're a secretary, you don't have customers, you don't have anybody that buys anything from you. You may not even have a product that you're offering, but if you're a secretary, your customer is the person who's writing your check, the person who keeps you employed, whoever that is, the person you're secretarying for, your boss, maybe it's several people you're a secretary for, maybe it's a whole organization where you act as the secretary. You have a customer. Every single one of us has a customer. You're an athlete playing a sport. The fans who come to the game, if they're paying for tickets, they're your customer. If you have a coach, they're your customer. If you have teachers, if you're a student, you're in school, your teachers are your customer. Because if you don't give them the value that they're expecting, you're not going to get the value that you're expecting. That's going to put you in a bad space. And you already know what I'm talking about with that. I don't have to go into any more detail on that one. And those of you who are entrepreneurs, listen, your customers are your bosses. I heard Mark Cuban say that maybe it was in an interview, but of course, Mark Cuban's on Shark Tank, owner of the Dallas Mavericks. He said, my boss, even though I'm an entrepreneur and I am quote unquote the boss, my boss are my customers. Because as soon as my customers decide they don't like my product anymore and they stop spending their money on my products and services, my goods and services, I'm out of business. So they are literally my boss, because I'll be unemployed with nothing to do, with no money to make, if I don't keep satisfying those customers. So first of all, you need to know who your customer is. Who is the person who it is your job to satisfy in order for you to continue receiving value? Amazon says, this is what it says on their site: leaders start with the customer and they work back. They work vigorously to earn and keep customer trust. Although leaders pay attention to competitors, they obsess over customers. That's a very important sentence right there. I want to say that one more time. Although leaders pay attention to competitors, they obsess over customers. Meaning, yeah, there are other people out there who are trying to get your spot, trying to do the same thing that you're doing. Maybe they're running in the exact same lane that you're in, but the leader is not paying so much attention to what they're doing, so much attention to those people, to how we're going to beat those people. They obsess over the people who are already in. You hearing what is said here? You hearing what I'm saying to you? They're obsessing over the people who are already buying, or who are looking at us, or are considering doing business with us. Those are the people that we're obsessing with here at Amazon, the company that is headed by the guy who right now, as of this recording, is the richest man in the universe. They obsess over the people who are coming to do business with them and exchange value for their value. Not the people who are trying to take value away, not the people who are trying to beat us out, not the people who are trying to copy our stuff. We focus on the people who are buying from us. Principle number 2, today's topic are Amazon's leadership principles. We may break this up into multiple episodes. I don't know if I'm going to do all 14 in one. It'd be too long. The second one is ownership. These are the leadership principles coming straight from Amazon.jobs/principles. Leaders are owners. This is what Amazon says. Leaders are owners. They think long-term and do not sacrifice long-term value for short-term results. They act on behalf of the entire company beyond themselves and their own team. They never say, "That's not my job." Now, I want you to, if you were to listen to that and read that, if you've been listening to this podcast long enough, every single sentence that was mentioned right there under ownership, I've done separate episodes on. Being an owner, having ownership over all the work that you do, taking ownership over the job you do, even if you're not an owner of the company, even if you just started working there and they've been around for hundreds of years, not sacrificing long-term results for some short-term gain, seeing the long game of whatever you're doing in life, acting on behalf of the entire organization, the team, not just focusing on yourself, and never saying that's not my job. Listen, if you're a leader and you're taking ownership, everything's your job. If you're the owner at a company and nobody's around to clean the bathroom, guess who got to clean the bathroom? Even though you're the boss, even though you're the check writer, even though you're the head honcho, even though you put all the money up, you got to go get on your hands and knees and scrub that bathroom floor. Why? Because nothing is not your job. Nothing is above you. You take full ownership of everything going on around you. That's the second leadership principle. Number 3, today's topic are the leadership principles straight from Amazon.jobs. Invent and simplify. And this is what Amazon said. Leaders expect and require innovation and invention from their teams and always find ways to simplify. They are externally aware. They look for new ideas from everywhere and are not limited by something not being invented here. As we do new things, we accept that we may be misunderstood for long periods of time. So this last sentence is really important. When you're doing something new, something that hasn't been accepted yet, something that most people, the mainstream has not taken on and said, okay, this is something that we see as normal, something that we accept, people may have negative things to say about it. People may just not pay any attention to you at all. They may be completely indifferent to you. They may be negative towards you because what you're representing or what you're doing or what you're saying or what you're selling is something that people just haven't agreed that it's something that they need yet. I mean, think of the device you're listening to this on. There was a time when people thought like everybody's going to have one of these devices and carry them around in their pockets all day. Nobody's going to carry something extra around in their pockets. So we don't need that. Well, that idea changed over time, right? Nobody thought when it first came out, not nobody, but there were many people who thought, listen, somebody just giving us updates on what's going on in their day every single day. They got off an airplane, what they ate for lunch, taking pictures of their food, telling me how their baby is taking their first. Nobody wants to hear about that. Nobody wants to go online and read about that every single day. At one point, that was the prevailing wisdom. At one point, that was the conventional wisdom. But over time, people came to see, oh, maybe this is something that we want. So being inventive means for a while, you may be misunderstood. You may be misdiagnosed. You may be completely ignored. You may be even getting some negative backlash from people. But when you're an inventor, when you're a creator, you're okay with that. You're all right with dealing with that. Point number, I believe this is number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And today we're giving you the principles straight from Amazon.jobs of leadership. Leaders are right a lot. Now this is one that may go against what many people think. Maybe some people listen to this. Leaders are right, and they're right a lot. What Amazon says, leaders are right a lot. Let's say it again. They have strong judgment and good instincts. They seek diverse perspectives and work to disconfirm their beliefs. Now, I just gave you about a month and a half ago an episode that leaders always look to disconfirm their belief. The height of confidence is looking to disconfirm yourself. Why you may not be as right as you think you're right. I believe it's episode number 846 of this podcast. So go back and listen to that if you haven't listened. If you did listen and you forgot, go listen to it again. A leader is right often. Why is a leader right often? That's the reason they're the leader. If somebody's always wrong, every judgment, every decision they make ends up being the wrong one. They're probably not going to be a leader for long, and people are going to stop listening to them because they're like, yo, every time this person comes up with something that ends up being the wrong idea or the wrong decision or the wrong direction to go, a leader is usually right. That's how they become a leader. And if you aren't usually right as a leader, you probably won't be a leader for long. Maybe you need to go back, get this off a little bit more grooming. Leaders have strong judgment and good instincts. This is the reason why they're right often, because they can look at the situation, size it up, determine what is the best course of action or inaction, and then move everybody to take that action. Not just thinking about it, not just talking about it, but moving straight into that action, whatever it happens to be. And a leader is always looking at their decisions, their judgments, and they're asking themselves, wait, why might this be wrong? What am I overlooking right here? What am I pretending not to see? What am I not paying attention to here that I need to start paying attention to? A leader is willing to do that because a leader is confident enough in themselves to know that even when they're wrong, they can admit that they're wrong. See, a person who's weak mentally with a weak ego doesn't want to admit they're wrong, doesn't even want to look at the possibility that they be wrong, don't even want to hear about anything that could show them that they're wrong because they're trying to protect their ego. But a leader is strong enough in their ego that they can say, you know what, I'd rather be wrong and make sure we do the right thing for the team and for the job and for the overall mission, and me serving my position as leader in the right way, than me prove myself right, but we end up doing the wrong thing. You understand? So a leader is right a lot because they may be wrong sometimes, but often they're right because they have strong judgment, and they have good instincts, and they have skills. They've worked on their games. Point number 5. And today we are talking Amazon.jobs list of leadership traits, leadership principles of people in their company. Leaders learn and are curious. That's number 5. Leaders are never done. This is from Amazon. Leaders are never done learning and always seek to improve themselves. They are curious about new possibilities and act to explore them. I don't have to go too deep into this one. I mean, you listen to a podcast called Work on Your Game. All right, so your leaders are always learning. If you're listening to this, you're always working on your game, your mental game, your physical game, your spiritual game, your sports game, your work game, whatever it is you do for work, your family game, your relationship game, your financial game, your mental game, every game, you're always working on your game. If you listen to a show like this, you wouldn't listen to this if you weren't interested in getting better. All right, if you weren't interested in actually doing things that will put you in a better space. A leader is always getting better. All right, a leader is always listening to something new that's going to get us some more information, reading a book, talking to somebody who knows something that they don't know, asking questions, provocative questions, so they can learn why another person thinks the way that they think. How did the person come to the solution or the conclusion that they came to that the leader may have not have thought of if they were looking at the exact same situation. A leader is always looking to learn, is always curious, always asking questions, and a leader is often listening a lot more than they're talking because they're asking the questions. They're looking at people who have done what they haven't done, who know what they don't know, who've seen what they haven't seen, and they're trying to figure out, how did this person get to this position mentally to be able to do this? A leader is strong enough to do that, whereas a weaker individual, a person who's not ready to lead, they feel like they always have to prove themselves. So they're always talking. They're always trying to offer information. They never want to be proven wrong. They're never looking for reasons to disconfirm themselves. A leader does all those things because a leader is learning and a leader is curious. And we understand, all of us understand, when you're in the process of learning, you're going to make mistakes, right? When you are learning how to do what you do right now, those of you who are in some form of full-time work, did you make mistakes at the beginning? Those of you who are playing sports, when you first started playing that sport, did you make some mistakes? Do you still make mistakes to this very day? Do you have a coach? Do you have a trainer who comes to you and tells you, look, this is what you could have did better. Here's a mistake that you made at this point. Here's what we need to improve on. Those of you who are coaches or trainers or mentors to someone or parents to someone, are you often going to your children or your players or your subordinates and saying to them, look, these are the things we need to improve on. Here's the things that we did well. Here's the things that we need to do better. A leader is always doing this. All right, a leader is always looking for ways to make themselves better and make the people around them better. And that includes making mistakes. That's part of the game that you're in. Next point. I got to catch my numbers here. They're not giving me numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 6. We'll split this up into 2 episodes. We'll do 7 and 7. Leaders, and this is straight from Amazon.jobs for those who came in late. Leaders hire and develop the best. Hire and develop the best. Leaders raise the performance bar with every hire and promotion. Now I'm reading Amazon's description. They recognize exceptional talent and willingly move them throughout the organization. Leaders develop leaders and take seriously their role in coaching others. We work on behalf of our people to invent mechanisms for development like career choice. Now, that's just a program within Amazon. But the point here is what? Leaders breed more leaders. So those of you out there who want to be a leader, or you claim that you already are a leader, or you're growing into a leader, or you've been in a leadership position for a while, you need to write down or look at a list or just think it off of your head right now. Who are the leaders who I've developed? Who's in a leadership position now who came up under me? Who led after I stopped leading in that place or that department or that job or that company? Who's leading now that learned under me? Who have I groomed to become the same leader that I am right now? Maybe they're not as good as you. Maybe they're better than you. Maybe they're doing something different from you. Maybe you don't even know where they are right now. But who are the leaders who you've groomed, who you've made better, who you have developed under your wing? Because if you're a leader, you have other leaders you can look at. In basketball or in football especially, I remember there was this football coach from the San Francisco 49ers named Bill Walsh. He coached back in the Joe Montana, Jerry Rice days, won a few Super Bowls. And Bill Walsh had all these assistant coaches who worked under him, who eventually went on to become head coaches in their own right and win championships themselves. And they always would refer to it as the Bill Walsh coaching tree. And they would show all these coaches who had worked under Bill Walsh and went on to become their own head coaches, and they groomed somebody and they groomed somebody because Bill Walsh was a leader. We know Bill Walsh was a leader because all these people who came up under him, they became leaders themselves, and they went and groomed other leaders. They went and groomed other leaders, and they went out and became just as successful as their mentor or the person that they had understudied under was being Bill Walsh, the person I'm referring to. So all you out there who are leaders, who are the people coming up under you who now can take the reins and do what you were doing? So just because you're the best, just because you had the most skill, the most game, the most performance, the most results, the longest track record, doesn't necessarily make you a leader. You are only a leader when you are grooming up other people who can come up under you and do just as well as you. As Jay-Z said in the song Boss off the Beyonce, Jay-Z, The Carters album there, he said, here we measure success by how many people are successful next to you. And here we say you broke if everybody is broke except for you. So the point that he's making is what? If you're making a whole lot of money, but all these people are around you and they're not making money, you're not really a boss. You're not really rich. You're not really that much of a leader because, yeah, you did it for you, but who else did you do it for? You're the only person who got rich when you got all these other people around you. How is that possible? If you're a real leader, not only can you get it for you, but you can show everybody else how to get it as well. Point number 7. And today's topic is from Amazon.jobs, the 14 principles of leadership. We're going to do half and half. So this will be part 1, do part 2 tomorrow. Leaders insist on the highest of standards. From Amazon, leaders have relentlessly high standards. Many people may think these standards are unreasonably high. Leaders are continually raising the bar and drive their teams to deliver high-quality products, services, and processes. Leaders ensure that defects do not get sent down the line and that problems are fixed, so they stay fixed. High standard of a leader. It's not just putting a Band-Aid on a situation. Something's not working. Let's not put a Band-Aid on it and then have to deal with it again tomorrow or the next week or the next time we had to do this same work. How about we handle the whole thing right now? Let's get to the root of this situation, figure out exactly what's going on. This is the skill of discernment. Being able to look at a situation, size up why what's happening is happening, get to the root of it, and actually solve it. Not handle it, not fix it for now, not put a patch on it, but actually solve it so that it never is a problem for you or for anyone else again. And leaders have the highest standards. Now, this makes a leader maybe sometimes hard to work with, hard to listen to, hard to be yelled at by, hard to have a leader breathing down your neck. If any of you ever worked with this type of person, maybe you had a coach or a supervisor, or maybe you had or have a parent who's like this. They're very demanding, always asking you, hey, what did you do with this? When are you going to do this? What's the hold up with this? They're making demands of you, right? They're very demanding. They're very exacting. But understand that a leader, this is the type of person that they are. See, a leader doesn't let you slide by not giving your best possible effort. A leader doesn't let you think, okay, what I'm giving here is good enough. A leader tells you, look, you need to step your game up. You've done okay so far, but you can do better. You're giving us a good output, but based on your talent, you can do a whole lot more than what you're doing right now. When are you going to step your game up? You need to step your game up. Listen, you're not measuring yourself by what they're doing. You measure yourself by what you're capable of. That's what a leader does. A leader is always pushing their people to bring the best out of themselves. And that requires them to be demanding. That requires them to keep high standards on you. And sometimes you may get pissed off with your leader. That's okay. You can be pissed off. All right. A leader's all right with you being pissed off with them, because a leader's job not to be your friend is to get the best out of you and get the most out of you. Let's recap. today's topic, which is Amazon's principles of leadership. We just did the first 7 today. We're going to do the next 7 tomorrow. Number 1, customer obsession. You know who the person is you're supposed to deliver value to so you can get value back, and you are obsessed with giving that person the most value as possible. Number 2, ownership. You take ownership of everything you do, everywhere you go, and anything that touches your hands, you are responsible for it. Number 3, invent and simplify. Leaders are creators. You're looking for ways to create. You're looking for ways to make things basic and easy for everyone to understand and to be able to execute on. And you are okay with being misunderstood or completely ignored for a while until people come to accept and adapt to whatever change it is you're bringing to the table. Number 4, leaders are right a lot. Why? Because leaders are smart. Leaders have game. Leaders have skills. Leaders have strong instincts, and they exercise solid judgment. That's why they're right often. But when they're wrong, they're willing to admit it. Number 5, leaders learn and they are curious. They're always looking for new information, new ways of doing things, better ways of doing things, ways to execute. They have an open door policy, metaphorically speaking, that anyone, even the people who work for them, can come to the leader and say, hey, here's the way we could actually do this better, boss or coach. And they're willing to listen to that because they're not so caught up in their ego that they think everything that they come up with must be the right way. Number 6, leaders hire and develop the best. Leaders raise the performance of everyone around them. They are exacting. They are pushing people, looking for the best people, and developing the best people. And number 7, leaders insist on the highest standard. They will push you. They will exact from you. They will make demands of you. You'll be pissed off with them. You'll not want to listen to them. You'll not want to hear them. And that's completely all right with a leader because it's not their job to be your friend. It's their job to get the most and the best out of you. Tomorrow, we're going to do the second 7. Work on your game. DreAllDay.com.